Mr. Almasi is here now.
Morning, Judge.
Good morning. All right, this is on for the continuation of Mr. Redden's sentencing. When we were last here, arguments were concluded and the court had begun to pronounce sentence when an incident occurred, an incident initiated by Mr. Redden, preventing the court from completing sentencing. That is the sole purpose for today's hearing. Any other issues that may arise from the events that occurred last Wednesday will be handled at a future date by a different court. For purposes of the record, I want to make it clear that I am not changing or modifying the sentence I was in the process of imposing last week before I was interrupted by defendant's actions. I am making my calendar page from that day an exhibit for the court. As it existed, the moment I walked in, prior to anything happening, nothing's been changed, indicating the sentence I intended to impose. Although I give it back for a moment. All right, that being said, in accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court does now sentence you, in addition to the $25 administrative assessment fee, $150 DNA fee, the $3 DNA administrative assessment fee, and $250 indigent defense fee, 19 to 48 months in the Nevada Department of Corrections. How much credit for time served does he have?
It's 0 days. He was on probation when he committed the offense and was revoked on probation to serve the jail time October 25th. That time it expired at or about the time of the plea. So
0 days credit. Mr. Almasi, if that's just different, let us know and we'll fix it.
I will.
The motion to quash mandatory is moved at this point. And for the record, I just reflexively wrote 0 days credit time served on the notes exhibit that I just said. So that is an addition as of right now.
That's correct. The probation case number, just for the record, is C370775.
Thank you. Thank you.
My name is LaDonna Daniels, Ladonna, and Daniels, Daniels.
In your relationship?
I'm his sister.
So can you just tell us, we've only seen the video, so tell us about he's your half brother, right?
No, he's my whole
He's
brother.
your full brother, so tell us about your brother and the brother that we haven't seen. Who is he like, what is he like, and how did he get in this situation?
Well, he's basically born with mental illness. He was born with crack cocaine in his system. So his chance in life was taken at birth. Deep inside, he's a good person. He's just not had the opportunity in life to be surrounded by positive people. Meaning his own family. I can see that my brother just felt betrayed at the time when he was pleading and saying that he was in a better place, which is different for us all to be in a better place. I mean, when we struggle from mental illness, it's a chemical imbalance, just as most addicts have chemical imbalances out there. Who wants to stop using, who can't. It's something that we suffer from. I don't think sending him to prison is going to deter anybody who suffers from a mental illness. They need to be surrounded by healthcare professionals who can treat him and so that he gets the right treatment that he needs.
He's been in and out of mental health court, so now he's going to go to prison on this thing, right? You were saying to me when we were walking down here, you don't think that that's going to help him in any way?
It's not, because the people in prison are trained to, for prisoners. They're not trained for people who suffers from mental illnesses. So he will not get the proper treatment that he needs.
This case went internationally viral. How has your family been dealing with that?
Well, we've all just been thinking more, of our rights as individuals. And anybody whose mind is not of a normal person should not be judged in a manner of a person who's normal like you and myself. He tried to speak for himself, which I just think he shouldn't have never been allowed to take the stand or speak on his own behalf because of his condition.
What was your thought when you saw this video that went viral? I mean, obviously you're talking about it.
Yes, I just think his reactions were not premeditated. It was triggered. Because he seemed to have been pleading for his freedom. He has been off his psych meds since he got out of jail, but because he doesn't have an appointment until March of this year, so he has not taken anything at all. And I think when the judge says, it's time for you to get a taste of, became a trigger, and in his mind, he felt threatened. We all have the capabilities to do what Deobra did, and that is to leap that high when our fight or flight mechanism response is triggered. When we're threatened, we can jump that high, we can leap that high. So in his mind, it's realistic that his life was feeling threatened, and that's what happened. I strongly believe that. I strongly believe that because it was that statement that was the trigger.
Have you had any communication with him since Wednesday?
No, I haven't.
I have, and once we found out that he didn't appear in court on that day, my mind automatically went to, what did you do to him? Where is he at? When I came, media everywhere, and I go over to the jail, and I'm trying to do the visits, and there's no visitation for him at this moment. Then why? Where is he? He hasn't called, but apparently Tony Abatangelo, a good attorney that I know, was able to access someone from the inside to actually call, and they called me last night. And I explained to Deobra, it's not a circus, what you did, no way do we condone it, but I know your struggles, and I know the voices that you hear, and I just felt I tried to soothe them and, say, just come to court and, whatever's handed down, just take it. What else can you really, truly do? But I just felt like to even be going back in front of her courtroom, that was totally biased. Why? What, you want to send a message? What? At the same time, he's like she said, he suffers from mental illness. It's always been documented. It's always been stated. Even when I got him from the foster care system at the age of 12, it was documented that he was severely emotionally disturbed. By the time he was 18, he left and branched out on his own. But every day, like you say, he's trying to do better. He just got released November of 2023. 6 weeks ago? Something like that. He just got an apartment, did everything right, was in contact with parole and probation. He was released to them in their custody. So now you said you're gonna send him back? But since in his mind, he didn't think he was going back. He was ready to go to work the following day. As we said in the courtroom, he got a dispatch from the Teamsters. He was just in a better place. And like you said, I just feel it's true.
Do you think that this will, essentially him being sentenced, will undo all the work that he's done
his mental state?
No, definitely not. It's only going to put him in a worse state of mind because the system has failed him, and that's how he feels. That's how he feels that since the system fails him, so he's going to come out with that mentality and go forward in life, knowing that he has pleaded everything that he can, and being in a better place is different for us all. If he can be in a better place for a month, 30 days, for him, that's a lot.
As a sister, as a mom, what was it like to see him in the spit mask and the scratch?
Of course, I cried. But even from the moment that he leaped and he jumped, and this lady right here is my witness, and she was important on that day also. My first thought of mine was, please don't kill him. You know what I mean? Please, like, it shocked me, just as it shocked everybody else. Like, oh my God, I went to a state of shock. You know what I mean? So it was heartbreaking, really, to see him. And like I said, at the end of the day, it's about his mental state. You know what I mean? His mental, like, we just seem to forget that.
In his eyes, he doesn't even understand that what he did was wrong, because he feels like he's just protecting his life. And any of us, if our life is threatened, we're going to react in two different ways.
His mental diagnosis is what?
Schizophrenia, bipolar.
So he's completely mentally ill, right?
He has manic phases.
Completely ill.
So even so, the night before he had court, I guess he didn't really sleep, because when I picked him up to come to court, you know, I noticed he was in there. I'm like, who you talking to, Deobra? He's like, oh, nobody. I said, you know, because as a kid, I used to tell him, like, don't start with those voices. Like, I would kind of soothe him, like, get the voices out your head. Come on, it's time to get up. It's time to go to school. It's time to do that, just to keep him focused. But as he got older and he got put on the medication, I seen where he was much calmer, because I believe so. They gave him his first dose of medication yesterday while in jail. Wow. His first dose, he said he had taken, and I could just tell in his voice that he was calmer and he didn't really realize the magnitude of how, you know, what happened. Right. Like I said, I don't even feel it's funny, it's a joke. You know what I mean? I didn't even
It should be
realize.
overlooked, like the judge said, like, oh well,
He just,
you know, this is, you got a history of this, well, it's part of his life, and who he is.
And Miss Karen, you're his foster mother, and how many children do you have?
I fostered him and his siblings. Actually, four.
how did you guys plan on supporting him in his journey now that he will be behind bars? How do you guys intend on
I've
supporting him?
always supported him, and I've always supported him, but he'll tell you if anybody's number is the same as mine. Whenever he's, you know what I mean, trouble or whatever, he won't pick up the phone. And like I say, I'm here to court for support. I actually taken off work. My employer allowed, you know, me to be here. It's all about me supporting him, but, you know, whatever he needs, I'm a phone call away. So, but the main thing is to make sure that he's getting the proper care.
Yeah, I plan on helping him understand his mental condition, because he doesn't understand what he suffers from.
So outside of him suffering from that episode, how would you describe his normal disposition?
Oh, he's a sweetheart. He is the sweetest young man. He will lend his arm to help someone. He will give his arm up for sure.
As a family, have you guys been discussing what the next steps are looking like?
I mean, what you think? I guess tomorrow is what, another episode? You know, with the, like I say, yeah, he had what, 4 charges. Now they jumped to what, 15, 16? Like extortion, like really, like I said, you know, no disrespect. We don't condone what he did. As far as everybody, oh, see what he did? No, he didn't do that to the bailiff. The bailiff did that to himself. You know,
And if you're not in your right state of mind, is it you or is it the sickness or the illness?
My name is Karen Springer.
Please spell it for us.
Springer, Karen, Karen. You want Denise? Denise, D-E-N-I-S-E, Spring, S-P-R-I-N-G-E.
Is there anything else you guys want to add?
That was so very courageous of you guys to step up and take, you know, it was not an easy thing. I was initially in the courthouse and you could just see he snapped and it was mental illness. Unfortunately, that's the way, you know, sometimes things go. Mental illness.
And how old was he when you went to your life?
Thank you. Thank you. That was very brave.
Yeah, Teamsters.
He got a Teamster 631. I just paid for his dues to get paid, so he was ready to go to work.
So what was the nature of the work? Was it
It's like labor board, extra board, they call it.
extra? So labor.
Yeah.
Construction. What is your name again?
Madonna.
LaDonna.
Daniels.
How do you spell LaDonna? How do you spell
L-A-D-O-N-A.
And Daniel.
Daniels.